What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Rantin review and this video series called Wrestling with Finance. Now, for those of you who are new to this channel or have never seen one of these videos before, I usually on this channel do pro wrestling and sports entertainment reviews. One of my other passions is personal finance. And I thought an easy way to explain personal finance to people was to take things that everybody can understand about wrestling and kind of use it to explain the complicated stuff with personal finance. Yes, it's a mashup of two things that really probably don't go together. But before we get to that, if you guys are new to the investing world and you want to get your journey started in personal finance, I do have some free stuff for you guys down below. In the description box, you can get 2 free stocks from Webull. If you fund that account with $100, you get an additional 2 stocks. Or if you just want to do one stock a very simple way, you can of course go on every millennial's favorite finance app, Robinhood, using the link down below, and you'll get 1 free stock in your account. It's free money, so for me, if there's free money given out, I take it. So that's up to you, but that is available to you guys if you're interested down in the description box below. So how do we use wrestling to talk about dividends? Because dividend investing is one of the things that a lot of people are doing today. It is a almost fail-safe. Nothing's 100% for sure in finance and the economy. Definitely don't ever get that confused. But it's one of the more secure ways of investing, as opposed to more short-term plans like day trading, like people who try to trade and buy something low and sell high, and basically a little bit of gambling involved with that. There is some skill if you really know what you're doing, but for the average person who doesn't know that much about the stock market, dividend investing and long-term investing is probably the way that you want to go. So most people have heard of Vince McMahon, whether you're a wrestling fan or not. And by the way, if you're not a wrestling fan, you don't really need to be a wrestling fan in order to get anything out of these videos. I'm just using it again as a way to explain personal finance. So Vince McMahon, who everybody knows is in charge of WWE, has been at the head of that for 35, 40 years almost now. Who knows how long it's been. And one of the things that Vince McMahon has done very, very well, no matter what you think about him as a person or what you may think about some of WWE's business tactics, Vince McMahon is a very savvy investor. He's a very smart investor, and that is why WWE has grown over the years to be the dominant wrestling sports entertainment company in the world. In order to explain dividends, though, you could kind of look at the way he gets wrestlers. So whether it's a Roman Reigns or a John Cena or a Hulk Hogan or anybody like that, Vince will pay them a certain amount of money to get their contract so they are exclusive to WWE. Now, even though he's paying them money in return, you can consider that a dividend that he gets in return from the amount of t-shirts that he's able to sell because of their likeness, the amount of videos, the ratings for the TV shows, appearances that he has these people go at that he gets a cut on the profits on. So all of those are basically dividends that he's getting back from having contracts with these stars. How that may relate to you as far as being a dividend investor, you're probably looking at it the same way. As Vince has all of these wrestlers on his roster, you would have all of these companies in your stock portfolio. So your portfolio could consist of, say, something like AG&C, which is one of my favorite current stocks that I own, where you purchase AG&C and you have that for the stock price and however many shares that you buy. But in particular with AG&C, since it's a monthly dividend, and most of them are not, but it's a monthly dividend, they pay me every single month a certain percentage of the amount of shares that I own in the form of cash. So essentially, by just owning the stock, I get money. It doesn't matter if the stock is up or down or if it's lost value or gained value or whatever. As long as they're paying out the dividend, I get paid every single month from AG&C. So like for Vince, he'll have a contract with a wrestler like Randy Orton, and say Randy Orton is so popular that WWE sells 100,000 t-shirts because of Randy Orton with Randy Orton's likeness. Now, while Randy gets something out of that, Vince will get a dividend from that. He gets the percentage of all the stuff sold because they own the rights to Randy Orton, and they get the money back from having Randy Orton and all the things that come along with the revenue that Randy Orton generates. So say you have something like McDonald's, which I think it's around $5 that per share that the McDonald's have. Of course, by the time you watch this video, who knows what the dividend is for McDonald's, but this is just an example. Say it is $5 a share. So over the course of the year, you're going to get paid that $5. Now, you could get it with McDonald's, it's quarterly, so 4 times a year you'll get $1.20 or something, $1.25 for every time that they pay out their dividend. Now, some of you might be saying, well, you know, $1.25, that's not really that much, but if you have a portfolio, again, much like Vince McMahon has a big roster of wrestlers that are all he's getting money from all of them for all the stuff that they produce and all the t-shirts and belts and everything else they sell because they have their likeness. The same thing goes with you and your portfolio. If you have a lot of different stocks in your portfolio, preferably diversified, which is something we're going to talk about in another video, but if you have a lot of stocks in your portfolio, you're going to get $1.20 this month from that one, and then you'll get 50 cents from that one, you'll get $4 from this one, $10 from that one, $80 from that one, and at the end of the month, it all piles up and compounds. And the key to what people really want to do who are dividend investors, they want to have all of this money accrue and over time get to the point where they basically can live off of their dividends. So say you're a person who makes $2,500 a month from your paycheck, and I'm just picking out a round number, but just say it's $2,500 gross before taxes that you get paid from the job that you have. If you have a dividend savings account and you're doing that kind of investing, you will eventually, if you keep contributing to it, get to the point where the dividends are paying you the same amount that you get from your job, which at that point in time, you might want to think about retiring. Most dividend investors have that as the dream. They want to live off the dividends. They want to live off their investments. You probably heard a lot of people talk about this when they talk about personal finances, just living off of their dividends, living off of their interest, which are two different things. But dividend investing, once you get to that point, you're pretty much set for life. But it all depends on your comfort level. Like some people can live off of $2,500 a month. Some people can live off of $6,000 a month. Some people need to live off of $10,000 a month. You have to determine that for yourself. But you can invest enough in the stock market and enough with other assets, including cryptocurrencies, real estate, wherever else, as long as the return that you're getting every single month equals what you would be paid at the job that you have. You no longer have to work for anybody else. You basically work for yourself, and you have all of these companies working for you. Now, somebody might say, well, then I'm going to go on and look for all the stocks that have really high dividends. Now, a really good dividend yield is between 4 and 8%. That's what you kind of want to look at. Those are probably steady companies. There's a lot of other factors you want to look into, by the way. But that's usually the right range. Now, you'll get some dividends, and you'll see a lot of dividends that are like 10%, 15%, some up to 20%. And you may think, well, I'll just plow all my money into that and then get a whole bunch of money every single month, and then I'll grow it really fast, right? Not necessarily so. You can do something like that, but what tends to happen though is that some of these companies that have dividends that high, it might be an indication that they might be about to go out of business, because if you put a dividend up that high, that usually is the case. Some of these companies are just looking to get that high dividend to get people to invest because they're trying to kind of consolidate money and get things ready before they shut the business down. Another consequence of that is that they may have it high for a while, but before you get the payout, they could choose to cut the dividend, and what you may think is a 20% dividend winds up actually being a 10% dividend, and then you're like, oh. Very careful, as always, when you're investing your money in anything. Always do your research. Again, I am not a financial advisor. I am not licensed to give advice as far as what you should buy and tell you what you should and shouldn't buy. I can only in these videos tell you what I've seen, what I know, and what has worked for me. You should always do your own due diligence. That being said, I have seen, and there's plenty of evidence for it, and there's plenty of people out there who are popping up all over the place now who are going, hey, I'm living off of my dividends. I'm making $8,000 a month on a dividend. I'm making even $800 a month on a dividend. Whatever it is, you're making that money. Now, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, because for most people, it's going to take a long time to build up enough stock and enough investments in order to get your dividends to pay you as much as you would working your average everyday job. So, some people might be, you might have to get $1.3 million to get the $80,000 a year in dividends that you don't have to work anymore. And that's really doable over like 5, 10, 15 years, depending on how much you get paid and depending on how much you invest. It is a very good strategy though, and like I said, it is typical to how investment is done across the board. You always want to put your money into something that's going to pay you out a certain amount, and as opposed to just doing a growth stock where you're paying a price and you're hoping that the value of that stock that you own goes up, and then at some point in time you cash out and then take the money from it. With a dividend stock, you can do the same thing, but In addition to the value of the stock going up, you're also going to get, like I said, paid either quarterly, semi-annually, annually, or in some cases with a lot of real estate investment trusts, you're going to get paid monthly, and you'll get a nice little check. And what you should do with that is what they call reinvesting. You can do this in a couple of ways. One of them is called Drip, in which you can set up whatever brokerage that you have, whether it's Robinhood or Webull or E-Trade or whatever it is, that'll have automatic dividend reinvestment, which means that when you get paid the dividend, say for McDonald's pays you $1.20 in a dividend, it'll automatically take that $1.20 and buy more McDonald's stock. So then the next time the dividend comes around, you'll be getting paid more on top of that. That's called compound interest. That's how you keep building and growing, not only the value and the amount of stock that you have, but the amount of dividends that you get paid out. So the next time it might be $1.30 that you get paid from McDonald's, reinvest it. Next time it might be $1.50, and so on and so forth, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. It's a compound thing. The old analogy is like a snowball rolling down the hill. As it gains momentum, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The same thing here with compound interest, what Albert Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world, because it truly is a wonder. Another way to invest, and this is really what I do, is I actually don't do drip reinvestment. I have my investments just put into my cash account, and then I decide and look at the stock market and what stocks I already own, and maybe there's some stocks I want to buy, and I use that money to reinvest either in stocks I already own, maybe some different ones. Maybe there's one I want to put more money into because it's a better buy right now than McDonald's. Or maybe there's some new stock that I want to buy, like Amazon, if I want to take that money and get into a growth stock like Amazon. But whatever it is, I'm reinvesting the money that I'm earning back into it. Again, much the same way as I've explained in the past video, how some guys like Vince McMahon will take the money they get from certain things and take portions of it and reinvest it in their company so their company continues to grow. Same thing applies to your portfolio. So what kind of roster do you really want to have? You want to, and I would think about it, if you're a wrestling fan, to think about it as stock investing as you're getting a roster of stars. Like if you were running WWE, you'd be like, oh, I would want Roman Reigns, and I'd want Randy Orton, and I'd want Hulk Hogan, and I want John Cena, and I want Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega, and so on and so forth. Well, that's basically what you're able to do. You're able to go out and go, well, you know, let me get a McDonald's, and let me get some of Tesla, like everybody wants right now. Let me get some of this. But again, be aware that some stocks are growth stocks and some stocks are dividend stocks, and you can always check that out by when you look in your brokerage at the stock that you're purchasing. Down in the description, it will usually tell you whether or not it's a dividend stock, how much the dividend is paid, and then you can use other resources to find out when they paid their dividends. One thing to keep in mind though is that no company owes you dividends. They can choose to pay you dividends, or they can choose to cut the dividend. They can choose just not to pay out at all. It all depends, but typically if a company wants to keep its investors happy, it's going to pay out its dividend. And we see that all the time. Now, you want to make sure that what they're paying out isn't more than what the company's actually bringing in, because there are companies that they pay out more in dividends than they're actually making and actually profiting as a company. You want to stay away from those. You want to find something that's pretty solid. And some examples of that, I would say, are like Apple has a pretty good a safe dividend score where you're pretty much guaranteed to get their dividend. You also want to make sure that you're getting a dividend, or you're buying a dividend stock from a company that has some consecutive growth. And there are places you can look to see what, like dividend.com, where you can look up a ticker symbol and see how many consecutive years of growth that particular stock has had in paying out and increasing its dividend. So that's pretty much the real simple explanation here. Again, using wrestling to kind of explain the complicated world of finance. You basically, as a dividend investor, you want to get a really good roster of companies on your portfolio sheet and make sure that they are paying you something good every single month, in addition to gaining value themselves as just being stocks. It's something that we see all the time, something that we enjoy to see as investors, and it's something that you can do too if you choose to. But once again, make sure before you invest any money in anything that you take stock and understand what you're buying and how these things work. And hopefully some of these videos I am doing here on Wrestling with Finance can help you be able to make those assessments for yourself. So again, thank you guys for checking this out. I will be doing more Wrestling with Finance videos over the next coming months. I'll go through a lot of different aspects. If you guys have anything you want me to cover, I'll definitely go and cover for you. If I don't know, I'll look it up or get somebody else on here who can talk to you about it. But definitely let your voice be heard in the comment box below. Leave me any comments that you guys have or questions that you have about this. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. In fact, don't even just hit the like button. Give a Superman punch to the like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or wherever you talk about personal finance here on the YouTube. And of course, if you want to get started in your journey cost-free, you can get 2 free stocks from Webull using my affiliate link below. If you fund the account and choose to put $100 in your account, you get another 2 free stocks from them. And you can also get 1 stock from Robinhood for free, again, using the affiliate link down below. You get 5 free stocks. You're getting free money, so you might as well try to check it out if you're ready to do so. But thank you guys for checking out this video, and I'll see you guys again next time for another video here for Wrestling with Finance on the Rantin Review. Have a good day.